Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome back to Monster Energy Supercross 6, the official video game, where today, just going to show you guys the Supercross Academy. Like I said in some of the other videos, I will do a career mode once the game actually comes out on March 9th, but we've already kind of taken a look at a lot of this stuff. The free roaming compound, we did a time attack on 250s, we did a bunch of single event races, I showed you guys the track editor and the customization options. Championship we might do another day as well, but I wanted to take a look at the Supercross Academy because I feel like this will also, I guess, maybe do a good job of showing you guys what looks or feels different about this game, because it's going to take us through a lot of different things. So let's just start with the tutorial race and see what it kind of does. I don't expect this video to be short. This might be actually closer to like 20-30 minutes, depending on how long each of these little tutorial things take. But at least we can kind of walk through it together. I can tell you what I'm feeling with the gameplay, what it's giving me feedback-wise. So that's talking about rewind. And then you have a number of times you can rewind, rider weight, all that stuff. So here we go. We're riding on a Husqvarna here, and we're doing a little bit of a tutorial race. So I guess it wants us to rewind. Oh, look at that. And bam. And it shows us how to brake going into the first corner. We're on a stock 250, of course. Arlington is a track I've already done a gameplay on. Oh, there's the flow aid this time. So it wants us to double in, step on, step off, and then quad into the corner, which we're doing pretty good. I like how it says drift left, which is I'm grabbing the left trigger, which is the brake, and then turning, which is the left stick, and it calls that a drift. And then it says weight backward, weight forward. That's kind of their way of saying seat bouncing. Then left trigger, drift right. Kind of silly to me because at no point do you want to be really drifting in Supercross. But, you know, Tokyo Drift, let's get on it. Fast and Furious style. All right, so one lap done. Still looking at where the flow aid is, which is just kind of showing us how to get around the track. But to me, a lot of times the flow aid is a little bit different than what you probably want to be doing on the track, which... like this is fine, step on, step off, double into the corner. But I think if you can, out of this corner, you want to triple in right here, and then you can quad over to that next table and triple into the corner. I think that line's better, but I'm on a stock 250F, so I can't really get it, I think, but I think that's a little bit better. But see, this tutorial race, it's kind of just showing you what you can do. Like, here's what you need to do to go fast. Like, here's where you stop, here's where you lean back, here's where you move your momentum. It's kind of taken me already through all the stuff that... I don't know. A beginner player, I guess, should learn about this game. It's a dual stick game, so a lot of the turning goes to your left stick with turning the bike, but you also need to move the rider with the right stick to actually turn, the rider, lean into corners. So if you've never played it before and you're confused by that, it's a lot about utilizing both the left stick to turn the machine and the right stick to use the rider functions to move the rider around to get a better turning angle, which can be a little bit confusing to players that have never played it. Maybe you come from a car racing game and you're like, why do I need to use both sticks? Because in a car racing game, you're only turning the wheel. And you're not really like moving the driver's head necessarily to put the car in a better position. But on a dirt bike, a lot of finesse comes in turning the handlebars and then moving the riders with it as well. Like if you actually watch Supercross in real life, you'll see a lot of rider movement, a lot of rider positioning, how they sit down coming into the corners and stick their legs out, sometimes how they stand up through the middle part of a corner to finesse the bike a little bit differently, and so on and so forth. So it's a bit of a unique experience if you've never seen it or been a part of it, but I feel like most of you guys watching probably know more or less what I'm talking about. All right, completed that tutorial. Sorry for a little bit of sniffles right now, not sure what's going on with my allergies. But let's go ahead and move on to the next part of the tutorial. So I think the tutorial race is just like, here's how to play the game. And then everything after that will be more about how to do all this stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully this stuff doesn't take too long, but we'll go to bike control next.
Welcome to the first lesson dedicated to bike control. Knowing how to manage both the weight of the bike and your own weight is crucial for many stages of the race. Try to shift the bike's weight with the left stick and go through every gate while trying not to lose speed.
All right, so that's our first little taste of what Jeremy McGrath in the game sounds like, who is our rider coach. And there he was explaining to us pretty much what we have to do here, which is go through these little gates. And yeah, What's interesting about this loading screen right here is I believe this isn't Supercross Park, which is what we're going to in the game right now. We're going to the rookie arena on Supercross Park. This looks like the compound from Supercross 5, where it's like this big, I don't know, raised pasture hill, and then it's got like a area where there's a dock and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if they're going to change that screenshot before. But here's the rookie arena on the Supercross Park. So now we have to pass people on a 250F while they're on 450s and go through all these gates. This doesn't look like the easiest challenge, but we'll try to make it happen. Can we like actually hit the gate? Looks like we can. We don't need to worry about keeping like right in between it. All right, now some of these guys up here, like A-Mart's on a 250, or no, A-Mart's on a 450. Never mind. What am I thinking? A-Ray's on a 450. Why am I on a 250 when these guys are on 450s? That's unfair. I can tell you that the way that some of these gates are lined up is not how I would choose to approach some of these angles on the track as well. I would do some different stuff. Look, we're already hitting more than enough gates. It actually gave us leeway. We had to hit 15 gates, and there's 20 of them. So pretty simple. And through the finish, bam. Simple enough. All right, what do we got next? I wish you could just like click next challenge instead of it just take you back to the main screen every single time. And loading times are not awesome in this one. All right, bends.
While cornering, it is essential to manage the weight of the bike and the rider with both sticks to not lose speed and to continue the race. We already learned that the left stick controls the weight of the bike, while the right stick controls the weight of the rider. Follow the slope of the turn while balancing both weights to not lose speed and cross the finish line within the time limit.
Interesting. It's actually kind of weird hearing Jeremy McGrath talk about how to play a video game. My first experience ever with video games was playing a game called Jeremy McGrath Supercross 98 on the PlayStation, which I'm sure some of you OG guys may remember that. But yeah, like Jeremy McGrath, when I was growing up, had a few different video games that you could play that had his name and likeness on it, but it wasn't really like him teaching you anything like that. So it's kind of funny to hear, McGrath is 50 now, I think, and hear him talk about how to play a video game is interesting. But of course, he's the GOAT of Supercross, more or less. So you gotta give him props and let him coach you through a game if need be. Let's see if there's this to finish. That's pretty easy. The national track looks cool though. I haven't really played the national tracks with all the decals and stuff on it, so that looks pretty cool. But this is really simple stuff. Like this is just feeling the flow on the machine. And so far, all the physical aspects of the game, the way that it actually feels on the sticks is very similar to Supercross 5.
When dealing with whoops, knowing how to balance the weight of the rider is key. Tilt the right stick down and shift the weight onto the back wheel and go through this section at full speed.
I think what they should have done with McGrath in this game, because they're just having Eli Tomac show you how to do all this stuff, and then McGrath is talking about it. It'd been cool if they included McGrath. Like, McGrath is a Kawasaki and Monster brand representative. Why not just make a McGrath replica Kawasaki #2, all that stuff, and let him in the game show you how all this stuff works. Like, that's how he does in the Science of Supercross stuff on the broadcast anyway. So anyway, whoops in this game, going to be probably a key talking point about how the game feels as well, I think, because a lot of people haven't liked the way the whoops have felt for a long time, I think. But this game is, in my opinion, pretty similar to what it felt like in the past games, which is lean back with, in my opinion, both sticks works the best, but you really can just get through them with leaning back on just the right stick and riding the rear wheel. But you can kind of like tire tap over each of them. So, I mean, pretty small whoops right there. I haven't actually come across a track yet that has like big whoops. So curious to build a track with big whoops and see how it actually feels physically, but that's whoops. So let's go to flow.
To maintain full speed during the race, it's important to follow the track's flow precisely, which is the best combination of jumps. Try to follow the recommended trajectory without making mistakes, and you won't lose speed.
All right, so we went over this already in the tutorial race with flow. Like the flow aid to me in these games are for people that don't know much about Supercross, don't understand what rhythm sections are, don't understand that a Supercross triple is 3 jumps that you're supposed to clear all 3 of them and things like that. So the flow aid is like, hey, these are the ways that the fastest riders in the world get around the track, so this is what you should be doing as well. So I like that they still include this stuff in the game because for the beginner players, like it is a really good tool to get them to be like, oh, that's how you hit that section, or that's how that jump is supposed to go, or what have you. So I like that they included it in the game, and I like that it is also part of the tutorial because it's a very basic level understanding of how Supercross momentum works. So that's a little bit of a tutorial on flow. I guess next up is I didn't see what it was. Was it scrubbing? No, what are we on? Ruts.
Some turns may contain ruts, grooves in the track left by riders. If you learn to take advantage of them, you'll lose less speed when cornering. Watch out for the flagged ruts and try to follow them without falling.
Well, this is hilarious because now they're acting as if the ruts in the corners are the big berm things that they've already pre-created in the game. So instead of making ruts that work in the game, they're making stuff that is pre-created huge berms, which I get it. Again, if you're trying to learn this game and you're like a 5-year-old, having real ruts in a video game would be really tough. So I get it why they do some of this stuff, but don't call it ruts. This is very clearly an inside berm. It's not a rut. And like, look, they're going to have this go outside here, and they call that, what, a rut? That's not a rut to me. So a little silly, the verbiage there, but I digress. Like, what are you going to do? They're trying to keep it light for the younger, less experienced audiences, but also make it still fun for the older gamers to play. There's a middle ground in there somewhere, but I don't think that having huge inside berms is necessarily the end-all be-all for calling something ruts. All right, let's talk about scrubbing.
The scrub is a stunt you can perform to lose less speed during a jump and gain a time advantage over your opponents. Right before starting a jump, tilt the sticks in opposite directions along the horizontal axis to perform a scrub. Depending on the position of the sticks, you can perform the scrub toward the left or right.
I'm really curious when this shows someone like McGrath gameplay of what a scrub looks like in this game, what he thinks. Because as a player, like I can kind of throw like little scrubs on a dirt bike in real life, not the ones that like a Kenny Roxon or James Stewart could ever throw. But this is not what a scrub looks like. It is that to me is just you maneuver the bike in a weird angle, not a scrub. So like it doesn't, in this game, I think it's maybe a little bit better, but I think they could do so much better with the way that the scrub looks, the way that the rider flows off of a jump to do a scrub. And I just think they're missing the mark. I really do. Like I wish this is something that they would care a little bit more about, to put a little bit more extra time into, but it is what it is. It does help you stay lower on the jumps in the game, so at least it works, but I wish it looked a lot better than it did because animation-wise, I think those scrubs look pretty darn bad. All right, back into the main lobby we go, and so we're on lesson 6. We have these 10 lessons for introductory, and then we have advanced lessons. I'm going to see how far along we get in this video before we move on, but now we're on to the whip.
The whip is a spectacular maneuver that makes the fans go crazy. Tilt both sticks right or left on the horizontal axis in midair and release them to straighten the bike when you're about to land. Even though the whip won't grant you an actual advantage, the fans will appreciate it. Putting on a show is part of our job after all.
Okay, I can't keep my tongue bit on that one. That is what they show as a whip in this game. That is unbelievable. That like the fact that even passes for them to say, yeah, it looks good. Unbelievable. But hey, whatever. You know what? We've talked so much about the air physics in this game. I don't know. It's beating a dead horse at this point. Like, you can make some of the whips in this game actually look half decent. Definitely make them look a lot better than they just showed them in this game. Which, like, I'm not saying my whips look any better right there. Like, they're still not good looking whips. But the fact that they showed that weird, like, anti-whip thing where it's like whatever that is, and instead of just, I don't know, it's just, they could have done so much better with the scrubs and the whips in this game. They still could do so much better. And the fact that they just leave it like that, and then they also make Jeremy McGrath talk about how cool it looks in the game. It's just, yeah, it just feels so disingenuous. And to anybody that watches motocross and supercross, really a slap in the face. To be honest, like, that's just straight up. Like, they probably don't want me to say negative things about it like that, but it's true. It doesn't look good, and they need to fix that.
You learned how to successfully tackle a bend, even though it's sometimes better to keep a tight line and sacrifice speed to overtake an opponent. Depending on other riders' behavior, you'll have to decide whether to make wide or sharp turns.
So this is an interesting one. This tutorial is called Bend versus AI, and in that video they showed like how you pass the AI if they're doing weird things in the corner. And it's a big one for me because I play a lot of career mode stuff in these games, and I personally want the AI to be rather immersive. And in the past few games, I've been really disappointed with how inconsistent the AI is, how weird they are through the corners, how little they use real racing lines. So I want to, hopefully expect things to be better. But, like right here, AP's just using flat corners, and we're just going to pass him by going to the outside and actually using the momentum of a thing called a berm and making the pass on him. So, pretty simple to pass. I don't think the AI has ever been difficult to pass in this game, but I wish they would do more realistic stuff. Use the berm. They don't just ignore berms in real life, but AP did right there, and it was really easy to pass him. So we'll get to more of that in career mode, but I think right now is a little bit hoping for more from what I've seen so far, but this is early access gameplay. Hopefully it gets a little bit better. All right, talking about starts.
To perform a perfect start out of the gate, hold both the accelerator and the clutch. When you think the gate is about to drop, release the clutch only. Timing is key. A perfect start will help you cross the hole shot line first, located right after the first turn. Try to cross it first to gain a significant advantage over your opponents and a consistent number of credits.
Okay, so talking about starts and the Monster Energy Supercross game series, the first couple of games was really bad with starts because you could never, even if you timed the gate, you could never hole shot unless everybody pushed wide in the first turn. I feel that is something that has gotten better. It is something where if you get a half decent start, you can actually get out of the gate pretty good against your competitors. And I like that there's been a little bit more variance, I feel like, over the years. Why are they having me do this against the guy on 450, though? That is really annoying to me, but we'll still beat him. But the variance was the problem with me. It felt like everybody got a great start. What? I didn't achieve it. I beat him to the line. What do I need to do differently? See if it still gave me the trophy or if we're just going to move on. But the variance sucked because it was like everybody got the same start and then you just waited for them to go into the first turn. I can't believe it didn't let me beat that. That's interesting. So I need to take part until the end in the previous lesson to unlock. Okay. Race against your coach. Okay, what?
It's time.
They did include a McGrath guy.
What I taught you. Me against you. One lap. Like if it were a real race. Be careful, because I won't go easy on you.
Okay, so everything I just said about why not include a Jeremy McGrath model that coaches you, they have a Jeremy McGrath model. It even has the helmet fin, which is something that McGrath kind of, I feel like, made famous on his Bell helmet. And for some reason, they didn't have him do the coaching. They just have Eli Tomac demonstrate and McGrath talk about it. But now we get to actually race McGrath on a 250 versus him on a 450. Still don't know why this is the case, but I digress. Oh, I tried to time the gate like they had us do. Oh, he's invisible too, so we can't block past him. It'd be sick if we could utilize that helmet that he has on in this game. Holy smokes, we're absolutely flying down this hill. I expect even on a 250 though, it should be rather easy to beat him. It seems like the AI isn't fully optimized yet. Like I said, I do think that is something that they will work on, but right now it needs a little bit of help. Oh, that is a transition that doesn't like me through the hangar right there. How long is this race? I hope I didn't just blow it by crashing on a transition out of a hangar. It looks like you can also use that. Well, okay, McGrath just went through that jump, so maybe that jump didn't exist when they programmed his AI. Go for the block pass to Kyle Chisholm takeout. Oh, didn't quite get it. Here we go, we got him here. And then I blew the corner. How long do we got? Well, it looks like we're going to go all the way back up the hill, so we have a little bit of time here. But look at this. I'm on a 250 trying to catch up to him on a 450. How unfair is this? I can't even clear the jumps. Come on. You got to make it so that we actually race him on fair equipment. Oh, that's ridiculous. Am I actually going to lose to McGrath here? This is embarrassing. We're about to come back up the hill. He hasn't looked particularly awesome through there. Gotta make up some more time. This 250F is so underpowered. He's just doing all the jumps no problem, and I'm trying to race him up this hill. I wonder why they have it that we race him on a 250F. That is so random. But yeah, well, he beat me to the finish line, and I still can't clear that jump. So it seems like it's still a little broken. This is something that they're going to have to fix because they have us on the wrong bike. They have us competing against him on a track that he's going through the jumps. A little bit odd, but we'll have to try to beat him another time because I don't really want to keep trying to just race Jeremy McGrath here at the end. And we're already 20 minutes into the video, so we don't need to take part in the advanced lessons anyway. But this at least kind of takes you through the early synopsis of what the game feels like. Some of the things that they're showcasing in the game, which to me is a bit of an L on their part because that whip and scrub tutorial was not a good look. But some things are okay. Some things are, I think, a little bit better in terms of the turning and going through the corners and stuff like that. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully in the month until this game releases, from when I'm recording it at least, we see some improvements, some things that they take into account to try to make it better, and we'll have to see. But it is a little bit of a look at the Supercross Academy of the game where Jeremy McGrath coaches you through. Let me know if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns. But thanks for watching another video here on Start Your Systems, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.